Hey everybody, welcome back to a studio version of Making It Fun. I've got a super great tutorial for you today. I'm Rob Appell, your host from Michael Miller Fabrics, and I'm super excited you are here. I'm excited I am here. I tell you what, it's been a wild adventure last month. I was in Houston, I was in Minnesota, I was in Los Angeles, I've been all over the place. I was in Arizona just a couple of days ago having a great time spreading the love of quilting and really helping get that message out about supporting the local quilt shops with this new fantastic trunk show program I'm putting on, and it's just super, super fun. Now, one of the things we've been launching and talking about and doing here at the show, we're going to talk about today the super cool New York cityscape, or what I'm calling a pixelated landscape. It is such a simple project. This video will just literally take a few moments, but I want to back you up. I want to give you the history. I know a lot of you love this channel because I talk so much about the design and where all of these crazy ideas come from. So a while back, you know, I work with Michael Miller Fabrics. Technically, I am the new national sales manager for Michael Miller Fabrics, so that's partly why I'm on the road so much. And when I started up with Michael Miller Fabrics, I was really excited. My partner, Susan Emery, was working on this great program called So Colorful. And So Colorful is a kit that allows you, the audience, the customer, the quilter, to go home right from the counter and make a fantastic panel. And not only is the panel super fun, but it is a tool that you can use in your studio, like I've got here on my wall. Now, the back of that project over there has the technical information a lot of us need. And I am terrible at color theory, and by using this panel and working on these quilts the last few months, I feel like my color work is really improving. And thank you for those of you who had the compliments when you saw this quilt at Houston that said, wow, that dude knows how to use color. No, I don't, but I'm having fun learning, and I'm glad you're here to learn with me. So we do have this wonderful panel. These boxes are just starting to arrive at your local quilt shop, so make sure you go call in, go visit, heck, give them a hug, tell them Rob sent you, tell them Mike sent you, and ask if they have the So Colorful panel, because in this box is the panel to do this, but you get to put it together yourself. I'll open it and show you real quick. We have in here, this is the cotton couture. That's our high density cotton solids from Michael Miller Fabrics, and these are pre-fused and laser cut, ready to go for you. The panel itself is here. Okay, I can open it up real quick and show you. But then also is this wonderful book, and in the wonderful book, it talks so much about color theory, and the beginning of it literally goes through and in a very fun and clever way discusses how we can get better and better at color theory, and that always improves the impact and storytelling we're doing in our quilting with our color. And then when you get to the centerfold, it just gives you the instructions on how to use these and how to put this together, and then you can practice your quilting, your different decorative machine stitches. If you have a brand new sewing machine, there's all kinds of great things you can use this beautiful panel for as a tool for your sewing room, your sewing studio. Now, quickly, and I know it sounds a bit like an advertisement, I'm just really excited about this. At the back of the book, we've got these beautiful color wheel quilts. These are patchwork quilts, and you've seen those in my videos, and you've been asking, what are those? And if you're interested, I will teach you how to make them in the very near future, so let me know in the comments below. But those quilts are awesome, and there's several different colorways. We have a kit that makes the big, beautiful color wheel quilt. It's a patchwork quilt using mostly half square triangles. We're going to be talking about those here in a second. I think I'm out of air. Now, but what's so cool about the continuation of this project, and what's so cool about what we like to do as designers, but are also sales folks for Michael Miller Fabrics, is create things that you're excited about that we can get perpetuation on. We can keep building and building because I love to learn. I consider quilting like a ladder or stepping stones. Each quilt I make, I'm learning something, and then I try to carry that into the next project, carry that into the next project. So you can, and this is the story I'm telling today, pre-cuts, pre-cuts, pre-cuts. Michael Miller is doing a ton with our basics and a ton with beautiful pre-cuts. And so the cotton couture comes as, this is one of the way it comes. There's 18 fat quarters here, 18 fat quarters of the cotton couture solids. And so when I joined the team, I wanted to do textures. A lot of you know what happened last summer in Sisters, Oregon at the big quilt show out there. I was in a sewing contest. It wasn't me. I had a team of 5 other individuals. The slow walk. Oh yeah. Team Appell taking the stage. Getting psyched up, beveraged up. against Tula Pink and 5 other individuals. So there were 6 against 6. We had 2 hours to make 2 quilts and raffle those off to help support the show. And we had a blast. But what happened is my dear friend Violet Craft, I allowed her to, I was the team captain, she was the designer. And she came up with this idea of using half square triangles to build a landscape, and it was fabulous and people went nuts for it. So as we walked off stage, I whispered into her ear and I said, you know I'm stealing that idea. So I did. I basically came back, and Michael Miller has fairy frost and marble and hash dot, which are all beautiful basics, beautiful textures, and those are already in your quilt shops. But I just made a color bundle that would work together, and this is called Frosty Marble Hash. And even in today's era, you do not need a special license to carry this in your store. Just a lot of fun, right? So solids and textures that work together. And in today's project, let's just slide those right there, I used every thread of the 2 fat quarter bundles to build my New York City skyline here. Now this is a 70 by 70 inch quilt. You can do anything with this except for worry about where each square goes or where each triangle goes. Now, if you bounce into the description below today, we have a fabulous free pattern right there. But what I don't want you to stress over is, did I put each and every triangle and half square triangle exactly like I did in the pattern? No, I didn't. I use this to kind of mathematically calculate. And if you look really closely, not the exact top of this is exactly the top of this, because I had more orange and yellow pieces than purple pieces that divided the sky from the buildings. And that's the first thing you're gonna do. You're just gonna take your solids and your textures and you're gonna divide them up, and you're just gonna make whatever size squares you want to become your half square triangles. Today's project and the way this pattern is put together, I did start with the 5.5 inch square. That's what they are. They're 5.5 inch square. Sorry, deer in the headlight. I saw my beautiful bundles over here and I was like, Rob, you forgot to talk about all the other pre-cuts. I do apologize, and that's why these are all hanging out here and they're all over the set today, because like I said, please visit that local quilt shop and check out the fabulous pre-cuts of the basics that Michael Miller has out there, because they're so fun to work with. And all of these, because they come in that rainbow of texture, will work. I want you to be hearing theory more than where each yellow and purple, and then if you can see the blue and the greens go on the bottom. So I did. I took this and we just divided into color genres, or where am I going to put what. So my yellows and oranges for this project were my sunset. My purples and my pinks were my buildings. Let's stop there. In the texture bundle, I do have some fantastic glittery pieces. Some of the fairy frost, it has a little bit of a shimmer to it. And I did specifically try to lay those all on the same sides of the building so that you would have the effect of the sun hitting the buildings and give you a bit of a perspective. So there are some really fun design things you can do with this, because you're basically just going to make yourself half square triangles. Those half square triangles become crayons, and even each color, you can have different gradients or different scales, as I'm going to teach you right here, because what you can see is I've already created some very light using my lightest of my yellows, and then I've created kind of medium textures using the same yellow but the next gradient here in my scale for the textures of the hash dot. And now we're going to put this one together, and I'm going to make it really dark, and that way I can blend the light as it goes through the sky. Now, if you've never seen this technique, we're going to take 2 squares. They are right sides together right now. Trust me, the solid is right sides together. Quilting jokes, of course. And now we're going to come right over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew around all 4 sides. And I'm actually going to do just like softball on Monday nights. We're going to run through first base, and I'm going to sew right off this corner. I'm going to leave that needle down one more, and I'm going to just come in here and I'm just going to pivot, rotate, bring it around there just like yay, and start sewing. We're going to do this all 4 sides. And you're going to do this to about a half bazillion half square triangles. Like I said, mine started at 5.5. These will yield, finish 4 individual 3.5 inch half square triangles. At the end, I come all the way through. I backstitch, although it won't matter because our next step is we're going to dog ear or lob off these corners, and that's going to help us with our bulk. Okay, so I'm just going to come and I'm just going to cut there, and I'm going to cut here and here and here. Okay, Next step is I'm going to take a ruler that's longer than my squares on the diagonal, and I'm going to cut where those threads have crossed, across here. I'm going to now lay it across here, just like yay. Super simple, super easy. Set that over here. And now as these open up, what they do is they make 1, 2, 3, behave yourself triangles, half square triangles, 3 and 4 of these half square triangles, right? So we're going to come over to the iron, we're going to press these. Of course, whenever possible, press them to the dark side or to the darker fabric. That helps prevent the bleeding through or the showing of the seam. Now, in the project, you can align your half square triangles anywhere you want. And like I said, for the most part, my half square triangles are just randomly set up there. Oops. I'm over there talking about it and I did it, so maybe now I can prove. See that kind of bleed through right there? That's different. There's no bleed through right here because I pressed the seam to the wrong side because I was talking and I was excited to tell you a little bit more about the design. So let's spend a few seconds there before we get into the prizes, and then we'll have you in your sewing studio in no time today. Like I said, it's a fast video because I am wound up excited about this technique. So, like I said, there were very few squares or half square triangles that really mattered, but I did want a few of these to add some character to my buildings, right? To my city. And of course, here is my Empire State Building, so I needed to get my little needle up in there. So that piece I just actually set into the seam, pressed it flat, stitched it down. So you can do all kinds of different seam management, and I shouldn't give you all of my secrets, but you know you don't have to use the same size squares throughout this. You can use all different size half square triangles if you've been quilting long enough to figure out how to get those back together. If you haven't been quilting long enough to get those back together, allow me to tell you, I will show you very soon how to do that. Now, back here, so in this particular space, whoa, quick turn, spin move, I also have another one over here. You're going to notice they're the exact same two pieces of fabric because I made one half square triangle unit that had the purple and the yellow as the combo. And then when I cut it open, I just had 4 of them that I could then play with and place throughout the quilt. So basically, you're just making half square triangles, but you're using the different colors and the different shades within. So back to what I was starting to talk about, color theory. If these are dark, these are medium, and these are light in my half square triangle. So for my sunset, in case you would really like to make this one your own, and you can even see in the free pattern, again, that's in the description below there, the darker outer edges were the combinations of my reds, my dark oranges from the Frosty Marble Hash and the Cotton Couture bundles. In the buildings, you can see I did mostly purples and grays for one side and more of the fuchsias and the pinks for the other to give you, again, that effect that the sun as it was setting was hitting the buildings and the windows were lighting up. And just hopefully you can see I actually quilted some squares here and swirls into the sky. So that looks like windows and that looks like wind swirls blowing through the city. Something kind of fun like that, right? Now, and in the bottom in the water, I used my blue and green pieces that were available from the colorway. And those ones, I put the darker blues up along what would be the base of where the buildings are meeting. So it gives you that effect of a reflection. And then the greens, which you can't see below the cutting table here, go on out and give you the beautiful effect of the rest of the water. And it was super simple and super fun to put together. And I can't wait to see what all of you start doing with all of these wonderful projects. And like I said, please just don't worry so much about where each individual half square triangle goes. You can use the math to count it across. I've used 23 half square triangles across and 23 half square triangles down. It finishes at 70 square. You can go nuts bananas with this, right? And it's about time to get somebody started on the banana theory. So what we do here, if this is your first time to a Making It Fun tutorial, is I've got this little box of mystery questions. The questions here I'm going to ask. And then once I ask the question, you're going to have a couple of days at the bottom of this video to comment right in the link, right in the bottom of this video, and you're going to answer whatever mystery question I draw out of here. Now, the fun thing is I want to support the local quilt shop, so I'm going to ask you to go pick up your prize in a local quilt shop. So we're going to talk later on. You'll email me after I let you know you win. And what are you going to win today? Oh yeah, I've already pre-cut them down for you so you can get started and ready to play. Now, like I said, we're doing a lot of pre-cuts at Michael Miller. These are 5 inches, mine were 5.5. I think you get it. It works no matter how you do this. The ones that Violet Craft and I did as the team and sisters were 8-inch squares. Just make it work so that you don't waste too much fabric, right? So anyways, I've got a bunch of bundles. I'm gonna send some to you. I'm gonna send some to the quilt shop owner of your choice so that everybody wins, right? You just have to answer the mystery question and be subscribed here to Making It Fun. You ready for that mystery question? I certainly am. Okay, with no further ado, today's mystery question is, bum ba da bum, and the ones in the front are the ones I haven't asked already. I'm just gonna pull it right out of the front. This is not preloaded. I have no idea what it says. Can you read it actually from over there? I'll do it for you. All right, here we go. If you have a button, which when you press it, it does something, what does yours do and why? Hit me with your answer in the description below, in the comments below, I mean. Make sure you're subscribed right here to Making It Fun. We will see you next Wednesday, somewhere from the road or right here in the studio. I won't tell you till next week. Thanks again for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Adios, amigos. I'm glad to see you're still there. Hey, if you insist on spending all day on YouTube, great with me. Please check out a few of my other videos. I think they're fantastic. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified. We'll see you next time for another helping of fun.